My name is Leslie Harrison, and I'm going to demonstrate the enhancements to the Dynamic Marketplace system. I have listed all of the subject headings we will be covering today. This will assist you if you wish to review the webinar at a later stage for a particular part of the process. I will demonstrate the full end-to-end service, digitally signing contracts, as well as publishing your contract information to Contracts Finder and Finder Tender. Also discuss the different permission levels within the system. All of the activities highlighted in the green boxes are the enhancements to the DMP system. You will still have the option to evaluate, award, and publish the tender offline if required. Please note, box 4, complete the Are You Ready checklist, will only appear once when you first access the system once the enhancements are live. You will have access to the checklist elsewhere on the system. We will walk you through the whole system and highlight the enhancements available to you. It will be up to the individual contracting authority's user manager on what permissions will be allocated to individuals. CCS is not responsible for this activity. If you are experiencing difficulties, please contact CCS or support@nqc.com, who will be able to help you. I will now take you through the step-by-step instructions on how to use the system. Access the system as you would normally do and confirm the customer access agreement. The first time you access the system once the enhancements are in place, you will also see the customer checklist. This will not appear again. However, this can be accessed at any time on the system. On the Manage Your DMP Category Portfolios page, you will see help instructions on how to use the system. There are a couple of new options available to you. Customer Readiness Checklist to ensure you have everything in place. View Archive Categories, where you can reuse a previous search. I will go through the appointed suppliers in more detail in the next slide. Selecting the appointed suppliers link will open up a new tab and display a list of all suppliers. By selecting a particular supplier, you can see what standards that particular supplier is able to deliver on the system. I will now take you through the Commence Search functionality. Once you have selected Rapid, the box will extend where you need to outline your requirements. This information will automatically be populated in your contract order form. You will be able to amend the word into the order form at a later stage if required. The system will automatically update to the suppliers who offer this standard. On Rapid Award, there is an option to view each supplier's generic and specific apprenticeship information at any time you see the supplier name in blue. It is mandatory for suppliers to have Cyber Essentials Basic to become an appointed supplier in this agreement. Please note, some customers will require the additional requirement of Cyber Essentials Plus due to their business requirements. This is not a mandatory field which needs to be completed. You are able to select more than one standard and the supplier list will automatically be updated. Underneath the supplier name, you will see a hyperlink to the standards each supplier is able to deliver and a number in brackets. Select the hyperlink and it will detail the standards that particular supplier delivers. You are able to view the generic program details from the Institute for Apprenticeship and Technical Education website. The Select Training Filter activity is mandatory, and if you forget to do this, a warning box will appear and you will need to update this section before you are able to move on in the system. Training Filter Type. Select if you require Apprenticeship Standard or Endpoint Assessment. Please note, when you select Apprenticeship Standard, the winning supplier will organise the Endpoint Assessment supplier on your behalf. Select Training Filters. You will need to complete all 6 training filters. If you're using the multi-basket approach and require the same filters to be used, tick the box and all standards selected will be automatically populated with the same preferences. You have the option to have different filters for different standards if you require. This applies to Rapid only. Whenever you see the supplier name in blue text and underline, select a particular supplier and you can view their provider information and training information. Rapid Award only. On this screen, you're able to view provider information, which will detail their generic supplier details, training information, which will detail their apprenticeship standards and delivery details. Select options. You're able to export the provider information and/or training information for a particular supplier. Select back to search results to see the full list of suppliers. Once you have saved your portfolio, you will return to the Manage Your DMP Category Portfolios page. Standard award only. You will be able to export the supplier list required for your further competition. Conduct your further competition using your own system. Rapid award. You will see greyed out Run Desktop Evaluating Exporting. This will refresh after a minute to export and run desktop evaluation. Rapid award only. Once you have saved your portfolio, you have two options. Run the evaluation online. Use the system as you did before. Please note, if you are blocked from Run Desktop Evaluation, means you do not have the correct permissions on the system. If you think this is wrong, contact your department's user manager in the first instance. The user manager can authorize for your profile to be amended. I am now going to take you through the online rapid award functionality. At any time within the process, you can decide to take the activities offline if you prefer. Run desktop evaluation and press the Continue button. Please note you'll only be able to view the pricing from the zip file. This is an added feature where you have the option of automatically publishing contract details directly to Contracts Finder or Finder Tender after the contract has been signed. Please note the functionality of publishing contracts directly to Contracts Finder and Finder Tender service is only available if you use the full functionality of the system to award a contract electronically. Please read the government guidance on publishing contracts for transparency. A link to the guidance is available on the system. The questions asked throughout will be the same questions asked on Contracts Finder and Finder Tender. You will need to enter the details of the procuring entity making the award to the contract. Enter the primary contact details, contracting authority type, and the procuring entity. Enter the name of the contract reference, and details of the contract requirement. Contract type will be defaulted to service contract. You will need to enter the date, the time the tender was closed, and the date of the award of contract for this tender. You will need to complete the start and end date of the contract before any extension period is included. If your contract has an extension period, enter the details of the first contract period and repeat. Please note you have a maximum of 3 extension periods you are able to document on the system. Please note, when you enter the lowest contract value, this figure needs to be a lower value than the total contract value. By selecting the postcode option, the address will automatically be populated. If you need to add the address manually onto the system, select the address option. Please note there's a drop-down box for you to select the procedure type. SME means this is suitable for small, medium-sized enterprise. VCSE means voluntary, community and social enterprise. You have now finished the section where you capture the details to post the contract details to Contracts Finder and Finder Tender. This action will not be undertaken until the contract has been awarded and contracts have been signed. We now need to upload the contract documentation to be used on the system. Digitally signing contracts using DocuSign is an enhancement to the system. You do not need an account for DocuSign to use this feature. This is still the case if you forward your request to someone else in your organisation. Please note, if you do not have the delegated authority to sign contracts, you are able to forward the request to someone else who has the authority to do so. Don't forget to populate the contract terms and contract order form for each supplier and upload the documents here. If you are awarding contracts to more than one supplier, you will need to upload separate order form and separate contract terms and conditions per supplier. You can opt out of using this feature and continue with your own process if you wish. The next stage in the process is to select what documents are to be reviewed. You have to select someone to review the documents. You are able to select yourself. Alternatively, you can choose another person in your organisation. I am now going to take you through the review stage. Selecting Review enables you to review the information uploaded onto the system. To continue through the system, select Save and Continue. If you have opted to publish contract details directly to Contracts Finder and find a tender, you will also review this information as well as the contract documents you will use to send to the winning supplier. This is a further screen to check the details entered in Contracts Finder and find a tender. If you are not content with the details already uploaded, select No and detail the reason why. The system will automatically revert this requirement back to the drafting stage to enable you to amend the details. Please note, the originator will be notified by email you have returned for further amendment and detail the amendments required. Once the details are correct, you are able to resubmit for another review. If you are content with all of the information, including all documentation uploaded onto the system, select Yes, and you will move to the next stage of the process. You are signing off the review stage to enable you to proceed through the system. I will now take you through the award stage. Your dashboard shows you are at the awarding select stage. To move through the system, select Next Question. All suppliers who meet your criteria will be listed here. You also have the option to download the zip file again, which includes apprenticeship prospectus and pricing. Select the winning supplier from the list. You will need to document why you picked this supplier on your own internal system. Please ensure your order form and contract terms are populated with the winning supplier details. You have the option to remove any incorrect documents and upload any amended documentation here. Some of the order form will be automatically populated for you. This will be supplier name, customer name, and apprenticeship standard or standards used. If you are awarding to more than one supplier, you will need to upload separate contract documentation per supplier. Also enter a message which will be sent to the supplier or suppliers with the documentation. A warning message will appear to confirm you wish to send the notification to the winning supplier. This is for information only. I will show you what action the supplier will need to undertake. It is the supplier's responsibility to access the system to accept or decline the award. You are able to call your supplier to let them know they need to access the system. If, after a couple of days, they have not responded, please get in touch with them again and let them know this action is still outstanding. The supplier will access the system and download the documentation for them to review. Select Next Question to go through the system. The supplier will need to state if they would like to participate in the award selection for this tender. The supplier will download the documents and read through the order form and contract terms. If they are content, they will accept. They have the option to select No and document the reason why. The supplier can send their acceptance via the system by selecting Send Response. The supplier will document the reason why they have declined the award. The supplier can send their message via the system by selecting Send Response. A supplier has declined the contract documents for a particular reason. We will go through the steps you need to undertake on the system. To understand why the supplier has declined the contract, access Communicate Desktop Evaluation. Select the View button, which is located by the supplier name, to access the reason why the supplier has declined the award. If it is just a human error to the documents, please amend, and if you are still content to award the contract to the supplier again. Please note, under Rapid Award, the supplier and yourself are unable to negotiate the terms and conditions of the contract. Alternatively, you can award to another supplier if required. To view why the supplier has declined the contract award, you will need to go through the steps above. 1. Select View More to access the scores. 2. Click on the hyperlink agreement. 3. It will display the reasons why the supplier has declined the award. You will need to document the reason why the award was unsuccessful. By selecting Send Response, you will return to the award selection stage of the process. See slide 48 onwards to go through the award select process again. Please choose the supplier who is able to meet your requirement. You are able to award to the same supplier if required. Alternatively, you can award to another supplier. You also have the option to cancel the procurement if you prefer. I will now take you through the award communicate stage. If you wish to use the DocuSign facility to sign your contracts, select Communicate Desktop Evaluation. When the supplier receives the contract documentation, they will need to either 100% fully agree or 0% decline the contract documents. Select Yes to continue with the process and send the document to the supplier. Alternatively, you still have the option to cancel the award if required. Select Send to communicate with the winning supplier. Once the supplier has signed the contract, you will receive an email asking you to sign the contract via DocuSign. Please note, if you do not have the delegation to sign contracts, please forward to someone in your organization who has the correct delegation. When accessing DocuSign, you have to agree to use electronic records and signatures. Press Select to continue. Review the document and if content, please sign. You will need to select Signature and Date Signed on the left-hand side of the screen. Place your signature in the name and title box. Repeat to insert the date. Once completed, select Finish, which is located at the top right-hand corner. On completion, a pop-up box will appear. Press Continue to finish this action. Once everyone has signed the contract, you will receive an email to say this is completed. To download the signed contract, select View Completed Document. It is good practice to store all contract documentation in a central location for your team to access. To download the document, select the down arrow at the top of the screen. You will be able to save the document as a PDF. It will state the PDF has been generated and will be stored on your computer. Please save this document along with the contract terms and conditions in your relevant contract folder. Your award has been completed. I will now take you through how to publish the contract using the system. Select Publish an Award Notice. Select Publish an Award Notice to access the next screen. You will need to sign into Contracts Finder and find a tender service. Tick the two options above to select where the contract award notices will be published. If you have not accessed Contracts Finder and find a tender service before, you need to select Enable Publishing Link under each tick box. Check through the details to ensure everything is correct. Please note you are unable to amend any details on the system. Select Send and a warning box appears to confirm you are content to publish the contract. To amend any contract details on Contracts Finder and find a tender service, see next slide. To amend any details on Contracts Finder or find a tender service, you will need to follow the steps above. You have now finished the full end-to-end process and the status will now show complete. Please refer to the customer guidance document, which explains the full process. You will be able to access the customer guidance from CCS website as well as the supplier registration service. I hope this webinar has helped you to use the system. Feel free to reach out to these contact points if you would like to give feedback or require any further assistance.